Andrew Tate's image of invincibility fractured the moment he left the ring looking vulnerable. The result was more than a loss, it marked a turning point in how the public perceived him. What followed was a rapid unraveling of the persona he had carefully built. Understand how that moment led to a broader collapse.
Scores about 58-56.
Okay. Has to be Chase. Has to be Chase.
And still.
Yes! Yes! Chase! Chase! You king! I love you, Chase! Yeah!
That moment spread across the internet instantly. When someone has built a public image around dominance and control, any sign of vulnerability draws intense scrutiny. Viewers didn't just react, they questioned what they were seeing, with many refusing to believe the moment was real.
So two of the biggest alpha male talkers on the internet took some major L's in the last 24 hours. And I just gotta say, that's a crazy position to end up in. And how did both of them get there? Oh, remember the dude who said, grab his D and twist it? What he didn't say is cup his buttocks and sniff it. Is this some sort of weird Illuminati humiliation ritual? I'm gonna be 100% real with y'all. I'm under no illusion that I could get in the ring and beat either of them dudes that those boys was fighting. But I wouldn't be on my knees trying to give them throat hugs either. What do y'all think about this? Let me know down in the...
This wasn't simply a bad night in the ring. It marked a deeper breakdown. Once Tate appeared vulnerable, the carefully constructed image around him began to unravel. With every replay, that persona weakened further as the myth he had built started to collapse.
I didn't get the result I wanted, but truthfully, the result I wanted was to see if I could still do it. 40 years old, 10 years retired, a little bit of time in a Romanian dungeon. It was always going to be a big ask against someone so much bigger than me, younger than me, more active than me, but I wanted a real challenge. I didn't want to fight a tin can. I didn't want to fight someone older than me or smaller than me. You know, I felt like I won the first 2 rounds. But then because he's 20 kilo heavier, he started leaning on me and sapped some energy. But I didn't quit, never give up, never retreat, never surrender, fight to the end, go out on your shield. So I have no excuses. Training camp went fantastic. Time is the fire in which we all burn. Unfortunately, a 40-year-old's not a 22-year-old. But I gave it my absolute all, and I have nothing but respect for Chase. I have no excuses. I'm not going to say anything bad about him. I'm not going to make up any reasons. He was the man who won. He deserves this victory. Truthfully, completely, and honestly, I'm actually very proud of him. And I'm glad to know that Misfits have a true champion, because he is a true champion.
Here's where the story takes a more unsettling turn. Tate didn't fall into this fight. He chose it and helped shape it, raising questions about what may have been driving him behind the scenes.
Tate versus Demure just went down, and it was not the outcome anyone was expecting. The first round started out with Tate finding his jab and controlling the pace early on, but nothing significant was thrown by either of them. Second round was much the same, with Tate going to the body. Demure gets his kick paws out and kind of just claws at him to keep him at range, but Tate does land a nice little combo. Round 3 is where shit starts to go downhill. We see Tate blowing out his ass, and Chase is starting to land. And this is where Tate's low guard starts to become a problem. When he's fresh, he can slip punches with his hands down, but when you start to gas, your reaction time goes and you get clocked. Chase weighed in at 200 pounds on the dot, and he was making Tate carry it, and his legs were starting to go. Round 4, things just get worse. Tate's looking to clinch at every opportunity he gets, just gassed. And Chase looks fresh, and he is gunning for him and starting to land more. Round 5, Tate is checked out and just trying to survive at this point. Chase lands a big uppercut that cuts Tate, and he's clearly trying to finish him, which he could have done if he made space. But he's just up close throwing these real short punches that don't have much behind them. Final round, Chase is just seeing dollar signs. Hunts Tate down the entire round, lands another big uppercut, and just keeps clocking him. Tate is just a ragdoll at this point. He can barely stand, but he does seem to get a second win and starts to throw back in a bit to not completely destroy his legacy. But at that point, it was too late, and Chase took the win by majority decision. And I'm sat here eating my words. I thought Tate was going to smash him, but fair play to Chase. He beat him in a fair...
Dubai wasn't just the setting. It became part of the spectacle. Tate's entrance, as a self-styled authority figure, reinforced an image of control that, for some observers, appeared to blur perception and reality.
Andrew Tate's boxing loss exposed something much deeper than a bad performance. This is a man who has every materialistic thing a guy could dream of, yet he still stepped in a boxing fight he didn't need to. I mean, bro's way past his prime, with physical limitations like bad eyesight, which he got in his kickboxing days. Which can tell you this fight wasn't about boxing, it was about identity. There are some men who don't know who they are without success, so they never stop chasing it and chasing battles. Not because they have to, but because it prevents them from facing themselves. And in this situation, Tate would have to face face the fact he has multiple kids with multiple mothers, he built his wealth off in the immoral webcam business, or face the unreleased emotions of being an innocent man locked up for a couple years. It can be anything but only he knows. And his boxing fight was a non-stop grind, disguised as a win.
Even before the first punch, expectations were already distorted. Dahmer wasn't viewed as the real threatened, once that assumption broke. The dynamic shifted quickly. In Tier View 7, when the bell rang, the shift was immediate. Confidence gave way to calculation. Calculation to photogan suddenly. Something felt off.
I chased him more in a boxing match. Badly. Andrew Tate wanted to fight 5 or 6 people and defend a heavyweight championship. But he didn't even win the first one because at the end of his fight with Chase Damore, he was laid to the floor with his face to the ground. And before this, Andrew Tate was confident he was going to win, saying he might even change his opponent. But Chase Damore said, "You only want to change your opponent because you know I'm going to beat TS out of you." Andrew Tate couldn't back down because he tells everybody he's an alpha male. He can defeat anybody with his perspicacity, but he ended up being the one defeated.
Isn't he supposed to be an alpha male?
Frames it that way online and constantly posts videos of himself fighting, but I guess it was all for nothing. Because he teaches young boys to be just like him. However, he's facing legal troubles for trafficking people in multiple countries and has been criticized for his poor treatment and abuse of women. He also calls himself the top G and says all man should want to be like him. So people started calling him Bodigy, insinuating that he receives dominance instead of giving. They said his punches looked weak in that fight and that he was all talk. Which is ironic because he claims he's a 4-time kickboxing world champion.
So a kickboxing world champion lost to an influencer?
He started to blame his age and started bragging about his money. But yes, Andrew Tate lost just like Jake.
So Jake Paul and Andrew Tate got knocked out?
Tate's style depends on stamina. Once fatigue set in, what looked like confidence quickly became a clear vulnerability.
But older, people do not realize how exhausting a fight is. Even just like the build up to a fight, you can be in great shape. We saw it in Jake's fight too. Tate wasn't scared of that fight. I don't think Andrew Tate was scared to fight Chase Damore at all. I think that was literally being out the game for so long. I don't know how serious he took the fight. I had no insight on his.
Each clinch signaled growing trouble. Every labored breath hinted at what the crowd sensed long before it was acknowledged on commentary.
Not worth the payout, and that's baloney. I think anyone would take a broken jaw for $90 million. That is absolutely worth the payout. I'm surprised he lasted as long as he did. Again, I wasn't going to bother watching the fight, but I saw the highlights from it. I am shocked he made it 6 rounds. Granted, a lot of it was on his knees, but still. That shot to the jaw was insane. Oh yeah, that was a wallop. Can't believe it didn't KO him right then and there. I mean, it was a TKO, but it didn't just like instantly turn his lights off. Not worth the payout. And that's baloney. That is absolutely worth the payout. I mean, that could lead to lifelong issues, so I don't know. I know a broken jaw can, in very rare instances, be like a permanent, almost debilitating thing. But like if you have to eat liquid meals and like basically baby mush everything, that's still probably worth it for $90 million. $90 million for just mush foods? Still probably.
By the later rounds, Tate wasn't fighting to dominate, he was fighting to survive. And survival mode is where reputations unravel in plain view.
AJ looking for the big shot to finish it. There's a right hand, there's a left hook and an uppercut. AJ with an overhand, Jake just smiles at him.
He's a dog, dude.
He is something else, dog. Big left hook from AJ, right hand, and Jake hits the canvas. That was a huge right hand. Jake turned around, I think he's telling him that was a big shot. And that's it. Anthony Joshua stops Jake Paul in round number 6 after probably the first flush right hand he landed on Jake. AJ goes with the throat slash, but he did what he was supposed to do. I don't want to take away from AJ's victory. That was a great win.
Paranoia set in. Some losses are straightforward, but this one felt different. As if it revealed something Tate had been trying to avoid rather than fix.
Don't mind me. Just smoking on that Jake Paul pack. Honestly, Jake Paul, trash. Tommy Fury, trash.
Online reaction went viral, not from dislike of losing, but from fascination with contradictions.
Round 5 hasn't finished yet, but you ain't really particularly interested in watching the rest of that, are you?
Not really.
What are your thoughts on what we've seen so far?
I've given my life 20 years to this sport. Blood, sweat and tears. I consider myself one of the best striking martial arts on the world. A pair of numpties like that call me out and I'm sat ringside. I have to leave because it disrespects everything I believe in and everything I've trained for. It's just, what am I watching? I'm actually unlearning as I'm watching. So yeah, well.
I mean, even if you were to get paid big money, which it would be, would you not even want to step in the ring with someone of that level?
Tate's carefully crafted image had just contradicted itself in full view.